At some point tonight, while you are completely asleep, your cat will get up, not because they are hungry, not because something scared them, not for any reason you will ever be able to identify in the morning. They will simply rise from wherever they are sleeping, move through the darkness of your home with complete confidence, and begin doing something you have never seen because you have never been awake to see it. Have you ever actually wondered what that is? Most owners have caught fragments of it without realizing what they were watching. You woke up at 3 a.m. to use the bathroom and found your cat sitting perfectly still in the middle of the hallway, staring at a wall. You heard something moving in the kitchen and assumed it was nothing. You noticed your cat was in a completely different room than where they fell asleep and never thought to ask why. Those fragments are pieces of something much more deliberate than they appear. Between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., your cat is not restless. They are not having trouble sleeping. They are not bored or anxious or acting out. They are running a program that has been running inside every cat for thousands of years. One that has nothing to do with your schedule, your home, or anything you did or did not do before bed. Because the version of your cat that exists between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. is not the cat, it is older than that, more self-contained, completely indifferent to whether anyone is watching. And what it does in those hours, in the dark, in the silence of a house, it has entirely to itself, reveals something about your cat that daylight never shows you. Your cat is not a nocturnal animal. Most people assume they are, but that is not quite right. Cats are wired for two specific windows of peak activity: dusk and dawn, the hours when light is low, when small prey animals are most exposed, when the advantage belongs to an animal with eyes built for near darkness. Everything in between, the deep middle of the night, the flat hours of the afternoon, is rest time, recovery, the body powering down between hunts. But here is where it gets specific. The window between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. sits right in the middle of that rest period for most cats. And yet, something still happens in those hours. Something quieter than the bursts of energy at dusk. Something most owners, if they happen to be watching, would almost certainly misread. Your cat gets up, moves through the house slowly. Not playing, not hunting, not chasing anything. Just moving, checking. Picture this. It is 3 a.m. You get up for water, you walk into the hallway, and your cat is sitting perfectly still at the end of it, facing a specific point on the wall. You stand there watching. They do not move, do not blink, do not acknowledge you at all. You go back to bed slightly unsettled. Your cat stays there for another 4 minutes, then quietly returns to sleep, as if nothing happened. What you just witnessed was not strange. It was deliberate. Think about what your home feels like at 3 a.m. from your cat's perspective. The sounds are different. The refrigerator hum is the loudest thing in the room. The street outside has a different rhythm. The air itself has cooled and shifted. Every smell that got compressed and layered during the busy hours of the day has had time to separate and settle. Your cat's nose, which is already dramatically more sensitive than yours, is now receiving information that was completely unavailable to them 8 hours ago. What looks like aimless wandering is actually a nightly audit. Your cat is moving through a version of your home that only exists at that hour, checking whether anything changed since yesterday, whether a smell is new, whether a sound is unfamiliar, whether something in the environment shifted while everyone was sleeping. They are not protecting you in any dramatic sense. They are simply maintaining their map, making sure the world they will wake up to tomorrow is the same one they went to sleep in every single night, without you ever asking. No training, no reward, just the same quiet round in a house that belongs to both of you. And there is one specific thing they do during that audit that most owners find unsettling the first time they see it, but means something completely different from what it looks like. Your cat stops, sits completely still, and stares at nothing. Not at a spider on the wall, not at a sound from outside, at a spot in the middle of the room that, as far as you can tell, contains absolutely nothing. And they stay there, sometimes for minutes, locked onto something you cannot see, cannot hear, and cannot explain. Most owners who witness this find it unsettling. Some find it funny. Almost none of them understand what is actually happening. Your cat is not seeing ghosts. They are not hallucinating. What they are doing is processing sensory information that is simply beyond the range of what you are capable of detecting. Cats can hear frequencies nearly 3 times higher than the human ear can register. They can detect movement in almost complete darkness. They can feel vibrations through the floor that you would never notice standing in the same room. That spot on the wall your cat is staring at, there is something there. A sound traveling through the building from 2 floors up, a vibration from a pipe behind the plaster, an insect moving inside the wall, something real, specific, and completely invisible to you. Your cat is not malfunctioning. They are operating at full capacity. You are just not equipped to follow what they are following. What you are watching in those still minutes is concentration, pure and total, the kind that has nothing left over for anything else. And here is what makes this hour even more revealing. The 2 a.m. version of your cat is the most honest version. During the day, their behavior is shaped by your presence, by your movements, your moods, your schedule. They adjust to you constantly in ways so automatic they probably do not even register as adjustments. But at 2 a.m., when the house is still and no one is watching, what you see is a cat operating entirely on their own terms. The things they choose to do, the spots they choose to sit in, the corners they return to, night after night, without any reason you can identify. All of it is your cat unedited. Write in the comments, have you ever caught your cat doing something strange in the middle of the night? What were they doing? I want to know. Because what comes next is what you can actually do with all of this. Starting tonight, the first thing you can do is stop trying to fix it. Most owners who discover their cat is active in the middle of the night immediately look for a solution. More playtime before bed, a later feeding, closing the bedroom door. But if your cat is simply doing their nightly round, moving quietly, checking the house, sitting in the dark for a few minutes before returning to sleep, there is nothing to fix. You are watching something that has been happening inside cats for thousands of years. It does not need to stop. It just needs to be understood. The second thing is simpler than it sounds. Before you fall asleep tonight, notice where your cat settles first. That spot, the one they chose before you even turned off the light, is the starting point. If they end up somewhere completely different by morning, that shift means something. You now know how to read it. And if your cat, during that nightly round, ends up back near you, not because they were cold, not because there was nowhere else to go, but because after checking everything in the house, the place they chose to return to was next to you, that tells you something about what you mean to them that no daytime behavior can match. The 2 a.m. version of your cat is the truest version, and they keep choosing to spend it with you. Tell me in the comments, have you ever woken up and found your cat somewhere unexpected in the middle of the night? What were they doing? And if you want to keep understanding what your cat is telling you in the moments most owners never notice, subscribe. Most of what your cat says happens when nobody is paying attention. This is where you learn to pay attention.